And we're live by the looks of it.
Hi.
Hi. I think Facebook has like a 30-second delay, but it does
Okay,
seem to
well,
be
we're gonna
live.
add to a bit. Yeah.
Just making sure that that's working through. Okay, looks like it's there. So, hi, Marcia, and thanks for
Hi.
joining um, the live sketch and chat, or paint, or draw, or whatever it is.
With everything.
Oh, we got Kevin Warboys is on saying hello. Hi, Kevin.
Oh, hi, Kevin. Hi.
So let's dig right in. Who are you and what do you do and what are you working on?
Well, I'm working on a Mystique and a Storm composition. Um, I kind of initially started doing portrait, really, and I kind of got into this kind of through doing art cards on eBay, and I think it was Tom Breyer who originally contacted me about doing a Vampirella set
Hmm.
several years ago, I think now. So I've been doing the sketch cards for ages now, it seems.
So you've worked on a lot of sets, it seems,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
I have. Yeah, I've
So
done. So I've done Star Wars sets, Marvel sets, Walking Dead, the Cryptozoic. I've done. I think I've worked for nearly all the different card companies. Really?
yeah, because you've been, I mean, just even just looking at the stuff that you have on your Facebook page on the let me turn this on the and die art.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Right, because you have quite the archive of various sets, and like you mentioned, Star Wars, Walking Dead, Vampirella, tons of Marvel stuff. Have you done any DC stuff?
Yes, I have for Cryptozoic. I did the Heroes and Villains set
All right,
and the Bombshells sets as well.
the Bombshells. That was a recent one, right?
I think it was on all. I think they've done three, haven't they, series? Yeah, yeah. I was on all three. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so I'm so mesmerized by the way you color. I'm just watching. I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching you color. Um,
I
um,
love working in markers. I must say, I only kind of discovered them when I first started doing sketch card sets. I only discovered them then, and I thought, oh wow, these are really fun to work with because they blend so well. So
yeah, you make it seem effortless, and I've never gave markers a fair shot. I gave him the good half an hour attempt, and then the colors didn't blend properly for me. And I said, "This
right. Well, you're
this is
more
not for me."
a paint. Do you like to paint mostly with your pieces? Are you more into using paint?
Yeah, so recently I've been doing like exclusively paint, and I'm in an acrylic
Oh,
now, trying
oh
to
yeah.
really get a good handle on that. But I see like the way you get the colors to blend, and some other people the way they get the markers to blend, and it's so smooth and so such even spread that this makes me want to try it again.
Yeah, you should give it a go. I find acrylics really, really difficult. I've always have. I would when I have used acrylics. I used acrylics when I was really young, and when I was at high school, and I used to find that I had to use them like watercolors. Really, I used to really water them down, and that's what I actually first started working in acrylics. But then I discovered markers, and then I fell in love with them.
Yeah, I mean, I use acrylics in the same sense. I use very watered down, heavy washes. Um,
Yeah, I think they work really well. You can get some really lovely effects if you water them down enough, I think. I
yeah,
just
I
don't
mean,
like the thick quality of acrylics sometimes if it goes on too thick.
yeah, I mean, if you get it too thick, then you got to
It
work
looks
backwards.
plasticky, doesn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, and it is a very time consuming process because if you
yeah.
do it that way, recently I tried a couple of pieces where I'm going heavy paint, like not watered down, just enough to
Oh,
give them some viscosity, and that's a whole
yeah.
different process. And I am enjoying it, but I'm not getting the same effect. Like it's a more artsy,
Yeah,
not art, like more artistic representation. So it's
yeah.
a totally different effect, which is not it's not a bad thing, but
Well, I've been trying to get the hang of airbrushing, and I've been using like acrylic ink.
yeah,
And I found that quite fun, but I still do find that more challenging than actually working with the markers. I've kind of got used to the markers now, but and I initially started doing pastels when I was in my 20s. I was doing pastel portraits, like pet portraits and
yeah.
people portraits. And I used to really like working in pastel, but it doesn't really lend itself well to actually working on the sketch cards because you'd have to set everything and fix it, wouldn't you? So
Right, and from the pastel side, they're like little chalk sticks, right? That's the ones.
yeah,
Then you
they're
smudge
chalk.
them or blend them.
Yeah, yeah, and I used to blend them with my finger mostly, yeah. But they used to get a really nice effect. I try and that's why I kind of work over with coloured pencils, so I can kind of get the same depth with the coloured pencils that I used to get with the pastels.
Yeah, but when working on a sketch card size with pencils, do you find it too small to get in detail?
It can be hard, yeah. I usually what I do is like what I'm doing now. I'm just putting a layer of marker, and then any kind of contouring, I will maybe use like a colored pencil and say like on the forehead, I'll start kind of contouring with a pencil, and then
Okay.
you get a bit, yeah, three-dimensional. But yeah, actually though, like when I'm doing the markers, because I like it because I can actually use coloured pencils with it. But if I was doing paint, then I don't think I'd probably get the coloured pencil on quite so well.
Yeah, because they won't stick to the surface once it's
Yeah, yeah.
compromised, if you will. Yeah, it's hypnotizing. So I mean, a lot of people chase your cards and for good reason because you put out some phenomenal work.
Oh,
Um,
thank
are you well, sorry, I can't stop there. You're just so well. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like you're well known, and seems to be your niche is the portraits.
Well, that's what I've always kind of done. I mean, when I used to sell a lot of cards on eBay and stuff, um, I used to do all the Lord of the Rings characters and stuff. Um, and I suppose, yeah, people do like my portraits. Well, to be honest, I just like to get a portrait in a picture because I think that is one of my things that I just really enjoy doing them.
Right. Is there a specific character that's your favorite?
I like doing all the female Marvel characters because I can kind of do a pin-up style then. I find them. I haven't tried to do a male Marvel character as a pin-up yet. I don't know. Maybe I could try. Maybe Deadpool. I don't know if we can draw them though, actually, at the minute, can we?
Yeah, Deadpool's forbidden right now.
Yeah.
And is there, well, I guess if you're primarily focusing on the females, is there someone that, like, when you get a set like Premiere, for example, that's got assigned characters?
Oh yeah.
Is there a character that you see, like, you pull out a card and like, okay, I gotta draw like, well, I don't know, Mojo or Rocket Raccoon, and you just
I
sit there
kind of
shaking
like
your head, like, how am I gonna do this?
yeah, well, I tend to focus on the kind of pin-up-y sort of ones. I like Scarlet Witch, and Black Cat is a favourite one that I like to draw as well. Um, Rogue, I'll draw. It's just basically all the different characters, but the female ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I'll do if I get asked, to do a set which is on lots of male characters and I've got to do them. Because I haven't. I suppose I've done Wolverine a few times and that, but I haven't really done many male characters for Marvel. Don't know how I'd approach it really.
I guess it's different on some of the other sets. Like I haven't worked on anything but Upper Deck, but my understanding is that like Star Wars, for example, um, they prefer, or actually, if not even demand, character or actor likeness.
Yeah, they do. They do. You have to get a good enough likeness. Yeah, or they don't always get approved. Yeah. Which
Right,
is
which
a shame, really, because I like to see a different people's styles and stuff. I think it makes a more interesting product, really, but that's what they like. So,
yeah, I mean, which is quite the contrast from the Marvel world, where you're not allowed, like, you can't look like anyone, or the costume, or
oh, you
the
can't do the film. Yeah, the
yeah,
film characters. Yeah, I know.
or the animated series, or the movies, or shows, or anything like that. Um,
Yeah, that's right.
so it's, I mean, quite contrasting. But I know, and I'm from your point of view as an artist, do you prefer when to work on something like a Star Wars type set, or even like a Lord of the Rings, where they are supposed to look like the actors, where you're just referencing production stills, or do you prefer to come up
I
with?
don't It just depends, really, if it's going good or not. If it's going badly, like I'll swear at it, and
No.
and then I'm too happy with it. But yeah, no, I don't really. I quite enjoy doing. I usually have to have something in front of me, like this is like an art model image that I'm working on. I'm obviously making them into Storm. Because I really do admire people who can make pictures out of their heads. I just don't know how they do it. It's amazing. Like they kind of come up with a concept and just draw it from and not have to have something in front of them.
Oh, like no reference at all.
Yeah, that sort of
Yeah,
thing. I just couldn't do that. I'd find that really impossible. Yeah, so cool when that someone can do that.
it's it's black magic. That's what that is.
Yeah, I think they sold their soul.
But I mean, you can't get really realistic features and lighting without reference. I mean, unless it's something that you've drawn 100 times before. Like if you were to draw this specific uh, facial expression with that lighting setup, 20 times over the next month, you could probably draw it again just out of muscle memory without referencing anything. But you can't. Well, I don't think so. I don't think you can. Anyone can just come up with it and get to that level of realism and lighting
There's so many
accuracy.
different tones, isn't there? So many different facial tones, and like in this
Yeah,
in this lady's skin, you kind of really have to see it. I mean, it's so good having this thing I'm working from because when I was younger, I used to have to go to live classes, but you can actually, get a CD-ROM and you've got all the pictures there, and it's really good and helpful.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, it's nothing beats life drawing to having a live reference.
Yeah,
But
oh yeah, yeah. But it's not always easy to do, is it, to actually get there when you're kind of having to do so many different things, actually physically get there.
oh
Or
yeah, absolutely.
I used to have life drawing when I was at college, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean nowadays with the technology, modern technology, and the fact that you can get image packs and reference packs from so many different sources, and even some of the like even I don't have one of the low ones, but like even going older to these guys, the wooden mannequins, right?
Yeah.
And being able to light it with your cell phone and take a picture and have a digital reference for the shadow. And I use my little guy a lot for the base lighting, even though like, proportionately he's
I've got a little
right.
figure. I don't know if mine's as good to yours.
Yeah, the low ones. I should probably get a little one. This guy's like 2 feet tall. Um, but I mean, they're great. But being able to just take a picture on your cell phone, because I remember when I was in school working with a mannequin, like a wooden mannequin, and you have him there and you work on something for an hour and a half, and the lighting is changing because the sun's setting, and you lost your
That's
entire lighting.
right.
But just to be able to go into the bathroom, turn on just one light, or open the door to get dramatic side lighting, snap a picture of the guy, and then just look at it on this computer or on the phone for the next 3 weeks just makes life so much easier.
Oh yeah, that really does. Yeah.
I can't imagine how they used to do that back in, I was going to say the like Renaissance times, but like even in the 80s, 70s,
I
without
know. I
taking
know it.
pictures.
We've got it easy, really, in comparison. I think.
Yeah, this
It's
is cake.
so nice. Yeah.
So, are you a collector as well as being an artist?
I can't afford to collect,
Oh,
unfortunately. My daughter collects a few bits and pieces, and I've had a few comp boxes from tops and stuff. And I do really. It's like there's nothing like actually opening a pack and then getting the hits and stuff, and that's really nice feeling, isn't it? I can understand why people get addicted to it.
yeah, and I don't necessarily mean cards, but anything in general, like
Oh,
teacups, salt shakers. I don't know.
oh, I must say I like buying my comics, and like I kind of collect a few of the Vampirellas and the Red Sonja comics because I really love the artwork, and especially love the artists. They had Joe Jusko. He did the Deja, Warlord of Mars. Have you seen those? They're really good.
Oh yeah, I mean, Joel is. That's actually a great segue into the next thing I want to ask you. Like Joel Jusko is phenomenal. I love his stuff.
Yeah,
I,
Joe Jusko is really good. I
yeah, and
love how
I
how he makes the flesh of the people he's drawn so realistic looking.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you follow him on his social channels. Like I follow him on Instagram, and he's working on that Tarzan set,
Oh
the book
yeah,
covers. And then like he
yeah,
just, I guess he just finished the one with the gladiator, and he works
yeah.
background to foreground, which I guess is the proper way of doing things. And it's just that step that he took between the underlying kind of not even ink work because he does it in paint, but the kind of the outlines of the muscles and everything to then the final skin tones on it, and it just looks like you can touch him.
I know it's
Um,
amazing. I always think how he does muscles, but so talented. He really gets the real a sense of all the bone structure underneath. Yeah, really great artist.
yeah, and his environments and his animals as well. I mean, he's just
Yeah.
Joe Jusko is as legitimate as it gets, right?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
really, really blown away when I look at his artwork. Yeah.
yeah, and he's really the reason I said, let me try acrylics, and
Yeah.
like, okay, like, because I mean, he's an acrylic guy for the most part, and he can
Oh,
get
does he
that.
work in acrylic, does he?
That's my
It looks like, I
understanding. I
think
could
it
be
looks
wrong.
like oil, but yeah, it's amazing.
Well, that's it exactly because he does get that smoothness and that
Yeah.
definition that you would see in oil,
Yeah.
by in acrylic. So that's okay. Let me try this and figure it out because obviously it's possible. Um, but yeah, I mean, the question now that kind of this segues into is who's your influences? Like who's the
Um,
artists that
I like all the Italian, the Renaissance artists. I like Caravaggio. I love the lighting in his work. Armatasia, if I can pronounce it, Gentileschi. Um, and for contemporary artists, I obviously like Joe Jusko. Um, who else do I like? Simone Bianchi. I really love his work.
yeah,
Uh,
he's something else too.
Vallejo, Vallejo, Boris Vallejo.
Oh, Boris, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
Boris and
loads that
Julie
I
Boris.
like. They've all worked on Marvel sets too, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, Joel did the first masterpieces in '92. Then he did 16. And then Boris and Julie worked on one of them as well
Yeah,
as Fear, like a bunch of them. And then Bianchi did the last masterpieces. And then, of course, we got
yeah,
Palumbo on the set that's coming out soon, the 2020.
yeah. Their son, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's Julie's
I'm
son,
looking forward to seeing them.
um,
Yeah,
which is like talk about pedigree, right?
yeah. I know. Oh, and
Uh,
another artist I really love is Perillo. He does all the Red Sonja. I liked his Red Sonjas that he did because it's such movement and also such depth of color and everything. So many amazing artists. I could go on forever.
yeah, yeah. It's such, and again, thanks to the technology and the world that we live in now, to the ability to see and be connected with these artists from all over the world. Because I mean, you mentioned the Italian Renaissance, but there's a whole, call a renaissance of Italian European sci-fi artists now that are starting to pop up more in recent years than before, like Bianchi, like Ariel Olivetti, who I think is from Argentina. Um, he's done Marvel stuff. He's done work for everyone. There's another gentleman, I can't remember his name right now. He does really great. Let me look him up quickly. Really dark, great dark stuff. I think he works on the is it the Batman Who Laughs or whatever that's called. Um,
Oh,
Riccardo Federici.
oh, I haven't noticed. I'll have to look that up later after I finish this.
Oh yeah, just totally mind blowing art. He's an oil guy. Um,
Yeah, I know. I wish I could work in oil. I do really envy people who can do that. It's amazing.
that's going to be my next. Well, not my next. My next experiment is going to be airbrushing because I did buy an airbrush kit back in March that's still sitting in the box.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I got
Oh,
to
I'm
try that
fairly
at
good
some point.
at doing that. Yeah, it's fun. My one kind of runs away with itself. I'm using it at the minute, so it's got
I,
at the
I don't
minute
even
I'm
know where
just
to
using
begin.
it.
I don't even know where to start with the airbrush. Like, what do I do? Okay, put some acrylic ink in there and spray something. I don't know. So I really
I
need to
know. I
set
think
the.
you're meant to do all these cut out layers, aren't you? And shield different areas and stuff. But I just haven't got the patience for that. I tend to just try and do something like and it doesn't always come how I want at the minute.
I mean, what I was hoping the airbrush would help, and I don't know, I'll find out eventually, I guess, is to be able to get a nice flat, even like tone to the paper or to the area.
Oh yeah, that would do that. I've been using it for backgrounds and
Or like
highlights,
for
and I can just
background,
about
yeah.
manage that. Yeah, I can just about manage that because I don't always like when I do a background. I'm never happy. I never think it looks smooth enough, But I would like to do airbrush, totally independently and just use airbrush. But at the minute, I've got to work on that one.
Yeah, I mean, getting to the level to actually do the whole thing in airbrush, and I've seen, I just going on YouTube and watching people like the guys that do motorcycle helmets and things like that, and
I
they're using the airbrush as a pencil. I don't understand how. That's
That's
just,
amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, like how much practice and the hand-eye coordination, the control on the hand. I'm like, okay, I'm not getting there anytime soon. If I can get a flat skin tone on my,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Oh, there's an artist, who is it? It's Hugh Trong, and he does airbrush on tiny little sketch cuts, and I think, oh, your work's amazing. I don't know how you do it. It's really good.
Yeah,
The beautiful
him
effects. You get some really lovely effects with it.
and there's another one. What's his name? Charlie Cody.
Oh, I haven't seen his yet.
Um,
What sets does he work on?
Everything.
Right, I'll have to try and check him
Like
out.
Premiere Masterpieces. I think it's Art of Cody, like
Oh,
CODY. Different style than Hui or Hoi, but
right.
airbrushed as well. Um, really cool stuff. Like just I don't know, and not understanding how the medium works. It's just like black magic, voodoo. This airbrush voodoo or that marker voodoo. Um, um, uh, so are you working without announcing or saying what they are? Are you working on any sets currently?
Yes, I'm working on one I'm really pleased to be on. For Cryptozoic. I don't know if I'm meant to be announcing it or saying because I think people have been, but I'm not. I'm not gonna because I don't want to be the one to get told off for it. Yeah, I'm really enjoying working on that set, but I've got to get 70 odd cards done for soon. But yeah, I'm enjoying that because it's all portraits. So yeah.
Right on. And anything in the pipes for the Marvel world? And there've been a few
Um,
sets announced.
Yeah, I've just finished doing. I don't know if I should say. Well, I've just
Don't
finished
say the
doing about
name if you
three.
don't. Yeah, don't say the name.
No, I won't say the name, but I've finished doing about three sets back to back for them. I suppose I can get away
Okay.
with saying that. So yeah, I'll get some more cards coming out soon. So yeah.
Yeah, they have quite the aggressive slate because they keep on announcing things, right? They announce masterpieces, they announced anime, they announced.
Yeah, yeah, there's been a lot of sets all in succession, really, hasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I
part of it
haven't
might
been
be
on the
because
premiere set yet, though. I'd love to be on a premiere set, but I have the only one I haven't done for them, yet. So hopefully I'll be lucky
Premiere
next
would
time.
probably, if we follow the pattern, Premiere would
Mm.
probably be 2021 if there is one,
For a while, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
I might
last
just,
year, uh,
yeah.
2017 was Premiere, 18 was Masterpieces, 19 was Premiere, 2020's Masterpieces. So I would
Um,
wager that 2021 there'll be a Premiere set.
yeah, I'd like to be on one of those.
And make sure you
Yeah,
ask them.
yeah, I'll have to ask them.
Um, so the piece that you're working on, that's a commission, right?
Oh no, I just was thought I'd do it fun. I mean, if someone wants it, then yeah, they can contact me. I like
Oh,
working on the bigger scale. Yeah, really like working on the bigger scale. I don't often get the opportunity, so my work schedule's a bit manic at the minute. But when that's finished, and then if anyone want a commission on a larger scale, I'm always happy to work with them. That'd be great.
okay.
And I'll
And
do
you
small
have
commissions as well.
so I think
Anything.
the moral of that story is if anybody wants a commission of any size,
Yeah, any size. As long as it's not
just reach out.
standard size, as long as it's not like that size.
Right. And the best way to get a hold of you is through Facebook.
Yeah, that's where I mostly go on. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
always answer pretty quickly. Well, my daughter does. She helps me a lot with my Facebook. I'm a bit of a dinosaur.
And that's facebook.com/MDYE art.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, yeah.
It's running at the bottom of the stream in a ticker. Just making sure I spelled that properly, because that would be
Uh,
important. Uh, so are you classically trained? I'm doing air quotes. Like, did you go to art school?
I went to the Norfolk what's called Norfolk Institute of Art and Design when I went many years ago. Um, but I went there and did a national diploma, and then I did a BA honours. So yeah, I am kind of trained up, but to be honest, I would have preferred to have done an illustration course, I think, because I think I would have got more use from that.
Oh,
Um,
instead of a fine art.
yeah, I think that probably would have suited me better for what I'm actually doing now. But still, I still really enjoyed it, of course. But to be honest, I think anyone can teach themselves, really, from books and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen a lot of amazing artists that are totally self-taught.
Yeah, I mean it's just I mean this is where, from my point of view anyways, I think where the schooling comes in handy is the fact that they give you the structure and they force you
Yeah,
to do um you know to not study because you're not really studying, but practice and explore the techniques and the materials, which you could absolutely do by yourself if you have
yeah,
the willpower and the dedication.
yeah, yeah. That's
Which
right.
is one thing that I to work against a deadline, work against um, a given theme. Sometimes it's more flexible than others, but I compared it to I'd much rather spend an hour or two or whatever amount of time it takes me to do a sketch card drawing Spider-Man or Wolverine or anything than going to do an art class and drawing flowers or a sunset. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it doesn't really appeal to me personally.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you've got to like what you're drawing to a certain extent, or it becomes a bit of a nightmare, doesn't it?
it's a lot more um, appealing to me, anyways, to draw something that's interesting to me.
Yeah, well, when I started doing art when I was younger, really, really young, obviously, when I was at high school and stuff, I used to draw all the people who would do music, like Madonna. I used to draw a lot and stuff, and I used to love drawing her. Um, so if it's something that you like, then might as well do it, as I say.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to go and take a class if, like Alex Ross or Jusko or Eric Geist or Gis, which actually is a teacher, but he's in the States. Like if they had a class, yeah, I'd
Yeah,
hop in, I'd go and take it, but I don't have anyone local that will teach or not teach because you're not teaching, I guess, sci-fi art or pop culture art, but working with sci-fi or pop culture as a subject in an oil painting class or acrylic class or even a marker class, right?
Yeah, I know what you
Um,
mean. Yeah,
it's the subject matter I find to be such of such importance. And doing
yeah,
them online, I don't think is the same. Um, I bought one of the Domestica courses,
yeah,
Domestica, um, and it's good and it's some nice insight there, but it's not the same, um, especially
I
since it
think
wasn't in
also
English.
looking at art, when you can actually go to a gallery and look at it up close, you can learn so much from looking at other artists' paintings.
Yeah, oh, for
Yeah,
sure. For a set that I'm working on that I shall not be mentioned, I like to do especially that like as I'm still getting comfortable with acrylic. I think I'm in a
yeah,
good place, but I think I can be better. Um, I
yeah.
like to do master studies, right?
Oh, yeah.
Um, and for those that are watching that don't know what a master study is when you basically replicating somebody else's um, technique. So I've
Yeah.
done a couple of Jusko ones to understand how he does the muscles. I've done some Frazettas, but recently and I did it as a set because there's only so many hours in the day. I
Mm.
started looking at Simone's work, but in depth.
Oh, yeah.
And I love his work. I love what he did for masterpieces. I have some master prints, and they're pretty to look at. But I never really like I found some high res. Well, not even found. They're on his website. He's got some high res scans of some of his work, and bring that into Photoshop and zoom in at 100% and really see the brush strokes and really see
Mm.
because then you can really start seeing how the colors are mixed and you can see, hang on, his
Yeah.
beast is actually purple, not blue, even though it looks blue, and the way he does the colors. And um, like in the last 2 days, I have a whole new appreciation for his work just by looking up close to the way he structures like his brushstrokes and the way he mixes the color. And just by looking and just doing that little master study of one of his characters for that set, I just think it elevated my understanding of color mixing and hopefully, um, yeah, we'll be able to apply those learnings into future pieces.
Yeah, I think you learn so much more from actually trying to, yeah, see how other artists work and what you appreciate, and then trying it yourself because then you feel, how it's made. Yeah,
Yeah, and what makes it look a certain way, or if you make a mistake, and mistakes are great in that sense, where you're trying to get a certain look and you think you know how to do it and you try to apply that technique and it doesn't, something else comes out. But there's a lot of learning coming out of it.
yeah,
Mm.
definitely.
Which again is something that I think going to school will not teach you.
Yeah,
They'll
well,
teach
it
you.
depends who's teaching you as well, how they approach it really. I mean, when I was at high school, I used to just stick still lifes in front of you, and it was so boring. Really boring.
And it's like, oh, here, draw an apple. Okay. But it's not so much about and I think just even looking at, watching comments on social media and YouTube videos, and a lot of people are asking, oh, what kind of pencil is that? What kind of brush? What brand? Um, which Copic yellow coat is that to get that yellow, right? And that's not really what's important. I think it's more as to why are you using that shade of yellow, or why using yellows to begin with, or why you're doing it that way, not so much the material you're using. Because if you understand
Yeah,
why how to structure skin tone or how to build skin tones by mixing, a combination of yellow, red, blue, and white, or whatever formula you like to use for skin tone, once you know why you're doing it that way, it doesn't matter what brand or what product you're using, because and then you'll mix that color in anything, in any medium.
Yeah, because you'll know exactly the one how much of each bit of paint that you need to mix and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and from oil to acrylic or watercolor or markers, you may mix them differently, but the formula and the concept of understanding that skin tone is a combination of these mixed colors, I I think goes a lot further than saying, oh, if you want to color in skin tones, this is the three uh, Copic codes that you use, or you buy this each color in a tube.
Yeah, they can vary as well. I mean, if you go from one brand of pencil, um, you'll have a specific color, and then if you kind of think you're getting a similar color in a different brand, it's totally different as well. You know, and then that
Oh,
becomes you have your favorite pencils that you know work that you use, and then if you can't get hold of them, oh heaven help us all. Like
yeah, but
if I yeah.
but if you understand the concept of how to get to that color, and yeah,
Oh
you like
yeah.
a specific color, and that's no longer available, then you're not necessarily panicking as much, because okay, it's not as simple, but you can still reproduce and you can still create what you want to create.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah, you could
mean,
layer different colours together and you know you're kind of gonna get like if you kind of tone a different colour down with a certain other colour, then you're good you know you're gonna get the right colour, yeah.
yeah,
That's all the area of colour mixing, yeah.
yeah, and
Sometimes I think it's to just do what comes naturally. It's like it's kind of like you just remember, don't you?
yeah.
Depends how many times you've done it. Like the
Well, yeah,
memory's not as good
there's
as
repetition.
these days.
So how long does it usually take you to complete a card? Like how long do you spend?
A sketch card, it can vary on how well it's coming. If I'm having real trouble with it, then it can take forever, and then I'm never happy with it. Or sometimes you can be lucky and they come really good and really quickly. But on the whole, it will take me a couple of hours to get the whole thing done. You know,
Oh,
with pencils and everything, and especially
yeah, from start to
portrait.
finish. Sorry?
Yeah, it can be forever. That's why I don't often do many cards per set. The most that I usually do on the Marvel set is like 30 odd and maybe sometimes 50 if I'm really pushing it. But you know, I don't like to hurry it. I like to, you know, be happy with what I've done sort of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, and it shows in the work.
Oh,
You can
thank
tell
you.
that you're not dialing any of them in. Um, and there's some artists that there's a clear difference in quality between a pack insert and an AP.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, and I totally understand it, because considering a lot of times the tight deadlines that you have to put together 30 cards in 2 weeks, right? You don't have the
Yeah.
luxury of time. But then there's also artists uh, like yourself, where a pack pull, I mean, an AP will probably be more refined, I'll say, maybe a little smoother, but you can definitely see that there's a significant amount of effort and thought and planning that was put even in a pack pull card.
Yeah, I like to kind of dedicate enough time on each card if I can, because I think, well, if somebody's going to pull this, I don't want them to be disappointed, in the quality of the work, because I want to do my best really.
So now you've switched to pencil?
Yeah, I'm going over it with pencil now to kind of give a little bit more depth. Um, yeah. And sometimes I'll go back with markers and blend with the marker with the pencil, but it doesn't always work. But sometimes it works. You can still get the smoothness. But um,
Do you find that the alcohol helps, like the alcohol markers help blend the pencil?
yeah, that can do. Yeah, well, I think so. That you can get a nice effect as long as you haven't gone too heavy with the pencil, and they smell really nice as well.
Well, that's just bonus.
As a bonus, yeah.
Mhm. I got it. So I don't know if this happens to you, but every now and then you end up not planning a piece correctly, and you spend too much time on a certain step. Like I was hoping to be painting this card on the stream, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm just still blocking it in.
It's a nice card. It's a card size. It was, yeah. It's a sketch card size.
It is sketch card size, but it's just on watercolor
Yeah.
paper. And we put it into stream. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
licensed. It's just personal stock. Um,
Yeah, I love how you've done all the I always don't do many lines on my art. I find it really hard, but you've got really, good quality of line. You can see a lot of what pens are you working with to
the
block
pen.
it in?
Oh, this
Just
is
the
just the Micron.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I've got one of those. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I find they don't work well on like licensed stock. I guess the paper it just bleeds. I don't really like doing it on those because they'll bleed. But on
Yeah.
watercolor paper or Bristol, it doesn't really bleed that much, so it's okay. I'm doing all this line work that's
Yeah.
probably going to disappear at the end because I'm going to cover it in paint. But I
Or
just going back to I didn't plan this properly, and I did the underdrawing with just normal 2H or 2H, and it's just not dark enough. I should have done it in
right.
like in a darker pencil or color pencil, but because the
Yeah.
line was not dark enough, if I go with color pencil over the graphite, it's going to get really muddy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then I'm
Because
okay. I just got to
that'll
outline it in
yeah.
ink, and then I'll lose most of the detail, the ink, when I cover it in paint. So
Oh, well, what I tend to do is I do the underdrawing too long, and then I end up rubbing half of it out before I start colouring. So it's even worse, isn't it? Really? Like when I was before I started this, I'd done all the shading around hair, and then I had to get the pie rubber and rub it out because I thought, well, it's just going to
oh
muddy the markers up. Yeah, it's just something that I tend to do. I think I'll just check this is going to look all right.
yeah, and then you
Just
just cover it all up in marker. That's it's you're not the only one that does that.
Oh, please don't know.
Um, Kind of part of the pains that we go through. Just draw the same thing over and over, and then erase it and do it again.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so
The thing is, when
yeah,
you do it on the sketch cards, if you make a mistake, which I sometimes do, then you kind of got to hand it in at the end. You can't do too many mistakes, and then so you've got to finish the thing.
well, this is where I'm kind of glad I work on acrylic
Yeah,
because
you can cover over it, can't
I
you?
can
Yeah,
cover it completely, 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 completely. And I've done that on a few sets where I
yeah.
started something, started painting it, and it just was not coming together. And I said, okay, you know what? Just start over.
Well, sometimes
And
that's what you have
yeah,
to do, I think. Yeah, you just get to that point with it, don't you?
yeah. Like I could spend another 3 hours trying to get this the way I want it, or I can just do something different. Um,
Yeah.
and working with licensed stock, you don't have the
You can't tear it up,
flexibility.
can you really? I
Yeah, and
often, if
then
it's my own cardstock, I've torn many, many
yeah,
things
just
that
throw
would
it
have
out and
been
do
hard.
something else. There's a few times, actually, even on one of the sets that I finished recently, where it, it just did not come together the way I wanted it, and I'm really not loving this. And I'm thinking to myself, what can I do to this card to make sure they reject it?
Right. Oh, I
Should
haven't
I
tried
just
that
spill
yet.
some ink on it? Should I just like give it to my dog and let her chew it for a little bit? Uh, I'll just put a gun in there and then I know it won't show.
Yeah, you can't do them. No.
Please don't release this card. Um, but I feel bad doing that, so just gonna try to fix it up to get it to a point where it's like, okay, um, I don't hate it. It might not be my favorite, but at least I don't hate it.
I think sometimes we can be our own worst critics, can't we? When we're doing
Oh, for
our
sure.
art.
You know what it is because we have a vision in our mind of what we want to
Yeah.
produce, and then as you said, it doesn't always work out. And it's like, oh, this is not what I wanted. But when somebody else looks at it, they don't know what you had in your head. They're just being like, okay, that
No,
looks
it's
nice
true.
colors, nice form. What's wrong with it? Um,
Yeah.
so that's why I say, okay, I'm not going to ruin a card on purpose. Um, just try to get it to a point where I'm okay with it because a collector may like it.
That's true enough. Yeah. I've often though, if I've made a mistake, I will totally cover it with paint, and then I'll think, oh, how am I going to work over this thick layer of paint? What and because I can't do it in my usual style. Um, and the usually is because I press pretty hard as well. When I start putting the coloured pencils on, I will press quite hard and burnish layers, and
Yeah.
then you see the impression under the paint. Terrible.
Oh, there. Um, so when you work, um, what's your process? Do you plan everything up front, or do you just start working on the canvas? If
Um,
you
I will kind of think in my head what obviously I want to draw, and then find references because I can't get it from my head. So I wish I could.
will?
And then I will just kind of sketch it out really, and then if it, try not to press too hard, and then obviously rub it out a few times. I think I must go through loads of putty rubbers. This is about my last of my putty rubber. I'm gonna have to get a new one soon.
Oh, is that like a kneaded eraser?
It's yeah, putty rubber. Right. They always end up on the floor, and my dog tries to eat them,
Oh,
and I have to get away from him.
yeah. I've gotten paint on the dogs, so I'm not allowed to work on the couch anymore. I have to be at my table because I've spilled several times. I spilled acrylic paint on my dog,
On your what? Sorry.
on my dogs.
Oh, on your dogs. Yeah, yeah. Do
Because I
they
like
kind of
I'll
nuzzle
like
up to you while you're working?
yeah,
And
like
you
I'll work
covered.
at the coffee table and I'll have the palette and the paint's wet and then they like stick their nose up there and
Oh,
move my
bless them. What
brush
sort of
and the
dogs have you got? What
I
sort of
have
dog?
a teacup Pomeranian,
Oh,
like 9 pounds, little black fur ball, and then I have a
oh,
Maltese, pure white.
oh, yeah. I just think a bit of pink in that Maltese's fur. Well, they wouldn't appreciate that.
Well, the bright side, it was the Maltese that it's hair, it's not fur on them, so it
Oh,
grows
yeah.
out and you just cut it.
Ah, yeah, because they're
Like
really
it grows
fluffy,
pretty
aren't they?
quick
Little
too.
fluff
You gotta
balls.
cut her,
Yeah.
trim her fur every couple of months. But if it was like a German Shepherd and I spilled blue paint on it, you got to shave that dog down and it's going to look like a poodle or like a Chihuahua for
Oh.
the next 6 months. That's how I lost my privileges of painting at the coffee table.
Right.
And I may or may not have gotten paint on the couch. I don't remember.
Right. Did you get screamed at for that as well?
Yeah, because acrylic doesn't come out.
Oh, it's a
And you can't rub
nightmare. I
it.
used to get covered with it when I was working, when I was younger with it. I used to get little specks of it all over my clothes and all over my bedroom carpet as well. And I used to get told off for it, but my mum used to kill me.
Yeah, there's no that it's plastic. Once that's dry, it's you cut it off or you burn it off. There's
Yeah, you can't get
no
rid of
fixing
it.
it. Okay, I think I'm ready to put some paint down finally.
Are you using the acrylic?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I have my homemade Stay Wet palette, which is made out of a Tupperware.
Oh, yeah.
I
How
have
you
a
done that
bigger.
then?
Sorry?
How you is it a stay wet one? So that the colours don't dry out.
Yeah, so I have an actual like Stay Wet one, but there's something about it I don't like. I can't tell
Right.
you what it is because I don't know for myself. But what I've been using is these takeout containers that you get.
Oh, yeah.
This is what it looks like just Tupperware, but they seal well. And just putting paper towel, like just wet paper towel underneath, and I just get it damp.
That's
And
a
then
good
this is just
idea.
parchment paper,
Yeah,
just
that's a
dollar
good
store parchment paper. And oh, I know what it is about the Stay Wet palette. The sponge smells. That's what I don't like. The sponge that it comes with, as you use it, it gets a weird smell to it. And with paper towels, I just throw them out every couple of days, and then
yeah. Yeah.
and it works. There's no brand loyalty. As long as it works, it works. So,
Yeah.
but I do have to say that using this Stay Wet palette or any type of moist palette is a lifesaver.
Yeah. They
This
dry so quickly, don't they, acrylics? They dry more or less after you squeeze them out of the tube.
Yeah, and I've tried using extender, which is
Oh, yeah.
which works well, but I find maybe works a little too well for my workflow because
Yeah.
it keeps them wet for a long time. Like
Yeah.
it will keep them wet for days. So when you're working quick, you can't have the paint wet for days because in 10 minutes, when I want to do a second coat or do a glaze, all I'm doing is peeling off the old color with the new color. So
Yeah.
matter of finding a balance. So now I can get some paint on, and that's only an hour later. Going back to uh, the concept of miscalculating. Oh, I haven't checked in on the comments. Oops. Let's see what's going on here. No. I don't think the comments are coming through. That's not good. I think the comment stream is broken. Yeah, it looks like the comments, there might be an issue with comments coming in. So if anyone's watching, if you posted a comment and it's not showing, sorry, I'm not sure what's broken. Kevin Does says that the art is looking good.
Oh, thank you.
And let me see what's going on. Yeah, it just shows like hasn't updated in over an hour, which is not good. Every now and then technology fails and
Yeah.
nothing can do about it. There's a stream I was watching the other day, and they use the same service, this StreamYard platform.
Oh yeah.
Great platform, and yeah, they're having issues with echoing.
Right. Oh, it's not echoing, is it? It's quite good to
It's
know.
not like we're not having any sound issues. We're just having an issue with the comments, which is unfortunate. But we are limited by the technology that's available to us. So, um, so are you familiar with Ian's podcast, or are you familiar with Ian's
Yes,
podcast?
yes. I think I'm gonna he asked me to do one of his episodes. So yeah, that's something I do in the future. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I should totally hop on that. It's it's great. I mean, it's a great listen if you're into the hobby, and some of the people that they've had on are some great insights. Um, that kind of what drove me to do these live streams with other sketchboard artists. Um,
Yeah.
it's such a nice little, I use the term little very loosely, such a nice little
Mhm.
community that I
Yeah.
find everyone is so nice and so open and um, kind, which is not something you find in a lot of communities, especially um, call them competitive communities.
Yeah.
right? Like,
I find all the art groups that like for the tops, there's tops has got an art group, and the upper deck there's one, isn't there? And everyone's really supportive and
yeah,
helpful and friendly, which I was amazed by, to be honest. On the internet you hear such terrible things, like
yeah, and
people
then
being mean to one another on the internet, but I haven't come across. I've been really lucky.
yeah, it's just been such a great community, such a great group of people. Um, I mean, I did have a couple of weird encounters, which I know won't talk about, but um, for the most part, especially this community, the sketch artists and even the people that don't work on licensed things, like there's the Artists Unite and Artists Assembles and all those other groups who kind of call them indie sets
Yeah.
that are artist funded sets. They're just so everyone in those groups is just so nice and supportive and very um, everyone's behaving for lack of better
Yeah,
word.
it's really nice, yeah, to see that.
Yeah, it's just really refreshing because some of the other groups that I'm in uh, and channels that I read and partake in on my professional life, it's just horrible. Right, there's
Really,
some really
mean
mean
people
people out there,
about, yeah.
and just yeah, it's refreshing to see nice people, nice kind-hearted people on the internet. Um, uh, mm, see, I'm getting notifications that people are watching, but I'm not getting comments. That's very
Are they all
strange.
shy?
I don't want to restart it because we might lose the link, and then that's just not good. Um, hmm. All right, well, we'll see what happens. Where's my sketch? I also find it sometimes easier uh, to work while you're chatting with someone about it.
Yeah, you kind of focus on what you're talking about and not thinking, oh, what am I going to do now?
Yeah, I just okay, I'm gonna lay down some paint. Um, and that's kind of was asking earlier if you find it simpler when you're doing like a Star Wars type set where you need to have the likeness, where you really that aspect of trouble or problem solving in the creative process of how you're going to light something or what color to use in a certain piece kind of goes away because you're using a reference that you're trying to replicate.
Yeah, it is probably easier, I would think, because you just got to kind of make it look like them, and make it look exactly like, because they want like a photographic sort of likeness if you can get it, which it becomes a bit boring now after a while, trying to just replicate a picture sort of thing. But you kind of think more when you're doing a comic book set, really.
There's more creativity in it, I
That's
find.
right, yeah. Be more creative.
It's strange that I mean how different publishers have these demands. I don't understand why. Um, well, okay, I understand the legal part, like from the upper deck part, where you can't have actor likeness because they probably need to get clearance from the actors.
Yeah,
But like from a Star Wars part, where you absolutely, or I'm assuming Walking Dead is the same, or any of that group where you need to
yeah,
make sure that they look right. Well, not right, that they look like the actor or the character. Um,
yeah. I think a lot of it, when I've worked on getting a likeness back, sometimes it's like how much you flatter the actor and that you make them look good.
oh,
If you, I think it's just human nature. I don't know if it's their agents who look at it and they think, oh, maybe they don't look so good on this drawing or whatever, and then they turn it down. Or what. I don't know really what motivates it, but Tops didn't always for their Star Wars sets have have this photo making it something look like a photograph. Um, it's a shame really that there isn't any leeway to do personal style more really,
mhm.
because I've seen some amazing cards, some really nice cards, and they're someone's specific style and they work really well.
Yeah, and it's weird with Star Wars as well because it is part of the more of the Disney empires, right?
Yeah, that
Um,
is. Yeah, it's Disney.
so
Lucasfilms, haven't they? Yeah,
yeah,
it's part of
so
Disney now. Yeah.
you would think that the same rules that apply to Marvel would end up applying there as well, but
Yeah,
apparently
I
not.
know what you mean. I know you can't when you're drawing a Topps Star Wars card. There's the same rules about pointing guns at people. You can do like a gun, but you can't have it actually directed at the viewer. You're just looking at the card. Um, Things
That
like
I
that.
think that's a Disney thing for sure.
Yeah, that's a Disney thing, that is, isn't it?
Yeah. Um,
And obviously you've got to make it look family friendly as well. And obviously not too much violence and that sort of thing. Um,
yeah, which is, I mean, for Star Wars, especially the more recent properties, when Disney took over them, they're a lot uh, safer, like family safe, I guess, than maybe the original set.
yeah,
Like we would, I don't think in this day and age there would be a slave Leia that looks the way she did in the original.
yeah. I mean, we can still draw live layer, I think, but I think you can't um, focus on the body too much. You kind of can do the head and shoulders, um, that sort of thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to kind of watch that as well when you're drawing layer. And I'll just go and put my light on because it's getting a bit dusty here. Yeah, it's a bit
Oh
bright in it.
yeah, yeah, no problem. Oh, what is that?
Oh, this is just to clean my rope. I blend with these stumps and they get
Oh,
really
sandpaper.
minging.
Okay.
And so I have to kind of clean the edges up. And like, oh, it's gone on the head. Look. And I can sharpen pencils with it as well. But I ended
Right.
up using a sheet, to be honest. Yeah. To be honest, sometimes you can have too many bits and pieces and paraphernalia that you get a bit kind of nervous, that you get too obsessed with them, and then you end up not concentrating what you're doing.
Um, uh, Okay, I do need to wrap up soon. That maybe another 15 minutes because I gotta
Yeah,
do more chores.
yeah.
Um, Looks like you're committed to getting this done.
I might stop for a bit in a little while because I've got to cook the tea.
Mm, But yeah, I'm fortunate about the comment stream. Hopefully they'll come in after. Um,
Yeah,
so I don't know what's happening. Sorry about that.
that's all
Um,
right.
Thank you so much for hopping on.
Oh, it's been really fun. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad to hear it. If you ever want to do it again, let me know.
Yeah,
I'm
be
also
up for
going to
that.
try to coordinate m- a larger group.
Oh, yeah, that would be
Um,
good.
so just people are all over the world, time zones, life, and everything. So just a matter of trying to coordinate a larger group or a couple larger groups. Because I've been talking to quite a few people now about doing this. So I'll shoot you a message once I have some tentative times and see which one will work.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah, that'd
we'll
be good.
do something like a challenge with multiple people
Yeah, that'd
um,
be
if you're
fun.
up for it. I know some people wanted to do a drink and draw, um, just a whole different thing. Um, that could go sideways very fast, especially knowing some of the people that shown interest. Um, but yeah, if you ever want to do it again, whenever you want to do it, just drop me a note. We'll figure out a time.
Oh,
Um,
brilliant. Yeah.
if if anyone's looking to commission you for APs or anything,
Yeah. You can just contact me on Facebook. Yeah.
yeah, facebook.com/mdyeart. It's available for commissions of any sizes as long as it's not too small or really, really big.
Yeah, I'm usually the largest I like to go is like A4 because then I can it's a good size to post. And then right down to sketch card size really. Yeah, whatever anyone wants. I'm happy to give it a go.
Um, Amazing. Can you bring well when you get a chance, can you bring up the drawing closer to the camera or is it taped down to the board?
I can probably sorry, it's just roughly
Just to get
hold on. That's all right, I can do it.
a better detail of it. So, compare it. Oh,
As my actually I didn't really use my watercolours. I often put watercolours near the side if I'm going to need them, but I didn't today. I haven't done them yet. Right.
wow.
And if I turn it
That-
that way, and it'll be.
yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, and you said this is not a commission, just something you do for fun. So if anybody wants this,
Yeah, when it gets finished, I don't know when it'll be finished, but yeah, probably not that long. It would take. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's phenomenal. Like I said before, I love your work. I can't wrap my mind around how you get that the smoothness of your color.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
unreal. Um, yeah, so I think that's that's about it for today. Whoever's watching, thank you. Uh, Comments, anything, if they're not coming through, I don't know what's going on. If you have any questions, message me directly or message Marcia. Is it Marcia or Marcia?
Oh, it's Marcia.
Marcia. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Marcia.
Um,
I don't
yeah,
mind Marcia either, to be honest. I like either way how it sounds. It's fine.
Marcia. There we go. Yeah, so DM me any questions, of course. DM Marcia. Follow her on Facebook at facebook.com/MDYEArt. Open for commissions, always um, available. And said, any parting words of wisdom?
Not really. Have a great weekend, everyone, the rest of the weekend.
Sounds good.
And you.
Okay.
Thank you for
once
having
again,
me. It's been lovely, really nice. Thanks for having me on here.
oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for making such beautiful art for everyone to drool over. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Okay.
And we'll catch you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.